That should probably be on our way. Let's see. The Dumfriesttown Council meeting of Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2023 is now hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Brown,
Present.
Councilman Fields,
Here.
Councilman
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Present.
Councilwoman Peterson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Nicholson,
Here.
Mayor Wood,
Here.
Councilman Brown.
Present. Yeah. All right, glad he's here twice. Thank you for being here both times. Just want to say good evening to everybody. We'll now have our invocation by Dr. James R. Noor, the senior pastor of the Concordia Lutheran Church in Triangle, Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the town council and guests. Let's fold our heads for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, in a world that increasingly seems to ignore you and actually run away from you and your good and gracious will, I give you thanks for a government entity that actually seeks your presence and your guidance. So it is with confidence and joy that we ask you to guide the minds and also the hearts of our council and all Dumfries officials, that they willingly and even eagerly seek to do that which is right and just in all their decisions and actions this evening and always. I ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America. One nation. Right. Please be seated. All right, next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Madam Pro Chair.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved second. All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
That's a yes for me. The agenda is adopted 7-0. All right. First on our agenda is our awards and our proclamation. One for Prince William County Community Foundation for World Food Day. Madam Vice Mayor. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Proclamation recognizing the Prince William County Community Foundation's impact on alleviating food insecurity within Prince William County on World Food Day 2023. Whereas World Food Day is observed globally on October 16th, 2023, with the primary aim of raising awareness about the pressing need for sustainable food systems and combating hunger on the global scale. And whereas the Prince William County Community Foundation, PWCCF, has been the forefront of community-focused philanthropy, tirelessly working to ensure that the residents of Prince William County have a brighter, healthier, and more secure future. And whereas PWCCF's dedicated mission aims at fostering a community that thrives through collective effort, research, and actions that further the common good and improves the quality of life of its residents. And whereas the foundation's notable initiatives, the Combating Hunger on Wheels, Chow Wagon, and Backpack Buddy Box Bag Program have been instrumental in providing multifaceted support to the county's most vulnerable, emphasizing the dire need to combat food insecurity, especially among children, understanding the profound implications it has on their health, development, and future potential, and whereas recognizing the food insecure children are more prone to health issues and behavioral challenges, PWCCF has not only shown commitment, but also demonstrated tangible results. distributing 18,400 meals through the Child Wagon program and a commendable 50,420 meals via the Backpack Buddy Box Bag Program. I had to slow that tongue twister down. As of August 31st, 2023, a lot of which were handed out here in the town of Dumfries. And whereas the efforts of PWCCF in ensuring that no child goes hungry to bed by reaching out directly to neighborhoods and schools epitomizes community service and sets a shining example for organizations worldwide. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Council of Dumfries, Virginia, on the 16th day of October 2023, on the occasion of World Food Day, we hereby recognize and extend our deepest gratitude to the Prince William County Community Foundation for its outstanding contribution to combating hunger and for its unwavering commitment to the welfare of its residents of Dumfries and Greater Prince William County. By order of the Town Council, Derek Wood, Mayor. Dr. Gaddis, would you come up to accept this?
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here to represent the Prince William County Community Foundation. I am Dr. Vanessa Gaddis, the president and CEO of the Prince William County Community Foundation, which was founded back in 2018 after I retired out of the military. But I tell you, it's been phenomenal. The support that we get from here, the town of Dumfries, since we started the foundation and the Child Wagon program has been phenomenal. And so we really thank you for all of the support. You come out, you volunteer, and you're just a big part of our community effort to ensure that no child goes hungry, especially as we continue to feed them over the weekend. One is the statistics that come out is that 14,000 kids here in Prince William County go hungry every year during the summer months. And even since the pandemic, we've had more kids to go hungry over the weekend. And so we continue to provide those weekend meals to the students each and every week. So every week we are distributing food resources to the kids in our community. We distribute food bags to schools in Prince William County every week. And so we are so grateful to the town council for recognizing the work that we're doing here. Since 2019, we've distributed almost 10 million meals to the residents and students here in Prince William County. And we'll continue to do that until we can help alleviate food insecurity in our community. So thank you so much, and we appreciate it.
10 million meals. That's no small lift, no small load. That's a lot of meals and a lot of food. Thank you for that work. Next up, we want to read a Community Planning Month proclamation, which change is constant. I say that all the time, and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, township, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live toward the establishment and maintenance of thriving communities. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States and its territories, and whereas the American Planning Association endorses National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to recovery and how planners can lead communities to equitable, resilient, and long-lasting recovery. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month, I said that backwards, gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the planning commissions and other citizen planners that have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the town of Dumfries. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the town, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Council of Dumfries, Virginia, that the month of October 2023 is hereby designated as Community Planning Month in the town of Dumfries in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. By order of the Town Council, signed Mayor Wood. We have the chair of our planning commission and our planning director.
I'll just briefly state that we would like to acknowledge and thank each member of the Planning Commission. Our chair, Mr. Calvin Noy, is here today, and wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that we are preparing for the update of our comprehensive plan, and we will be engaging a consultant to assist us with that process. And it is essential that the community, the entire community, be part of that process. So please be on the lookout and please be engaged. Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And for so long, victims of domestic violence have had to suffer in silence. There's a shame associated, and the shame is not theirs, it's of the abuser. So I think that we have a responsibility to spread awareness about these acts so that individuals know where they can go to get help so they can escape these situations. And we also need to praise individuals who have survived domestic violence situations and this abuse. So for this reason, I actually have two proclamations. One is going to honor an organization that provides resources to victims of domestic violence, and the other is going to honor a survivor of domestic violence. And our first proclamation is going to go to ACTS. So whereas domestic violence is a pattern of behavior that one person uses to gain power and control over another that can include isolation from friends and family, financial, emotional, and physical abuse, and sexual assault. And whereas domestic violence is a public health issue that affects all of us in seen and unseen ways, and to address it. Domestic violence knows no boundaries, impacting everyone regardless of race, religion, age, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, and geographical location. And whereas our community's largest nonprofit, Action and Community Through Service, ACTS, has continuously shown its resolve to combat domestic violence through its ACTS Domestic Violence Services, which offers several programs to assist adults and children to find resources needed to recover from their trauma. And whereas ACTS Domestic Violence Services, through their partnership with Dumfries Police Department and the Prince William County Police Department, assisted 3,415 domestic violence victims in 2022. ACTS Domestic Violence Services Lethally Assessment Protocol program successfully helped domestic violence victims get immediate crisis intervention, a path to safety, and emotional support. Answered 259 lethally assessment protocol calls when they were on the scene at a domestic violence incident. Their court program helped victims file protective orders and accompany 909 victims to their court hearings. And whereas despite the closing one of their two safe houses last year for renovations that is scheduled to open again in spring of 2024, Acts has sheltered 65 domestic violence families, housing them in hotels when their single safe house was full. And whereas ending domestic violence requires the leadership of survivors, support of government leaders, the collaborative effort of law enforcement, public health officials, community organizations, and community members, and requires that everyone commit a life way of nonviolence and respect. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Town Council of Dumfries, Virginia, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We commend our community and call upon all citizens, law enforcement, health officials, and all government leaders to speak out against domestic violence and actively support local efforts in the town of Dumfries and Prince William County to assist our relatives who are survivors of violence to be safe and live their lives free from violence, to hold abusers and systems accountable, and return our nation to ways of respect, honor, love, and compassion. By order of the Town Council, signed by Mayor Derek Wood today on October 3rd, 2023. And at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Gwendolyn Diatolo to come up front.
Good evening. I'm Gwendolyn Diatolo. I am the Community Educator of Domestic Violence Services for Action and Community Through Service. And we thank you guys for all of your support. We couldn't do it without you. Our goal is still to communicate educate the community through children and adults. So we have a lot of different events coming up in October. We partnered with the Manassas City Park Libraries. And so we're doing one with adults about healthy relationships and one with teens as well. And then we also partnered with the Manassas City Police Department. And so we're doing an event at the Art Factory in Old Town Manassas, and that'll be on Friday, October 20th. And I'll make sure it's up on our Facebook page and Twitter and all of that. So I hope to see you guys all there. Thank you so much for all of your support, because without you, we can't keep doing what we do with our advocacy.
Thank you. And our next proclamation will be in honor of a survivor of domestic violence, Ms. Maritza Gabriel. Whereas Maritza Gabriel, a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault, delivers a message of hope to teens and women across the DMV area. She volunteers with Acts in Dumfries and serves as a mentor at the Boys and Girls Club, multiple locations within Prince William County. And whereas our Maritza Gabriel founded Enough Cries, a local nonprofit in 2014, whose mission is to encourage those impacted by domestic violence, overcome their trauma, and live their healed whole lives. And whereas Enough Cries provides services that assist and encourage women and children survivors of domestic violence within Prince William County. And whereas Enough Cries will host its annual event, Diamond in the Rough, on Saturday, October 7th, 2023 at the Hilton Garden Inn. And whereas ending domestic violence requires the leadership of survivors such as Maritza Gabriel, the support of government leaders, the collaborative efforts of the law enforcement, public health officials, community organizations, and community members, and requires that everyone commit a life way of nonviolence and respect. Now therefore be it further resolved that the Town Council of Dumfries, Virginia do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We commend Maritza Gabrielle for her dedication to helping others realize that they can live free of domestic violence. We encourage our community to call upon all citizens, law enforcement, health officials, and all government leaders to speak out against domestic violence and actively support local efforts in the town of Dumfries and Prince William County to assist our relatives who are survivors of violence to be safe and live their lives free from violence, to hold abusers and systems accountable, and return our nation to ways of respect, honor, love, and compassion. By order of council, signed Mayor Derek Wood, October 3rd, 2023. Maritza, could you please join me up front, please?
Hello, my name is Maritza Gabriel. I am the founder of an organization called Enough Cries. I started my organization in 2014 because I am a survivor. I was willing and hoping and praying that I can find a way to a new life. I was a single mom of 3 kids. I'm a grandmother of 5 grandkids. I strive to take my life away because I found no out of my situation. I'm thankful to God and I'm able to stand here today to testify and say by God's grace, I'm able to be here today and be the voice of every woman that has gone through something in their lives, domestic violence, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. I am their voice and I chose to live and be their voice. And I started my organization called Enough Cries with the motive behind no more tears, no more cries. So moving forward, I do a lot in my community because my community gave to me when I did not have. And I told myself the day that I'm able to be in a better position, I decided to start an organization. I also work closely with the police county. I also volunteer at ACTS as a sexual assault advocate because I was also sexually abused at the age of 15. So I decided to mentor girls right here in my county at the Boys and Girls Club and teach girls how to love themselves, teach girls what they're worth, and teach girls that they have to love themselves before loving anyone else. So I am having an event this Saturday, which is called Diamond in the Rough. And I invite, if right here, Hilton Garden Inn at 12 o'clock, and everyone is invited if you choose to come. But I do ask my county to support my organization because we all can make a change in our community and helping other women find their voice and give them the strength to move forward. Thank you. And I'm so grateful and humble for the award. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your testimony and being so brave. Next is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Councilman Brown.
Last but not least, this month, we are proclaiming Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas this year alone, more than 280,000 Americans will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. And when someone is diagnosed with prostate cancer, every second counts. But patients are too often left advocating for basic care while drowning in a flood of medical information. Even with treatment is available, some struggle to afford it or insurance may not cover it. And whereas the stark inequities exist that about 1 in 5 African-American men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, whereas prostate cancer often in African-American men than in men of other races, whereas African-American men are more than twice as likely to die from prostate cancer in this country than any other man. And whereas African-American men over 40 have the highest rate of prostate cancer and should consider screening at the age of 40. And whereas African-American men were the first degree relative diagnosed with prostate cancer are considered high risk and should consider screening at age 40. And whereas African-American men present higher prostate specific antigen PSA values than compared to white men. And whereas we know that everyone's journey with cancer is different and brings a hardship not only to the patients, but also to their families. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Council of Dumfries, Virginia, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. We honor the lives that ended too soon and all those we can still save by redoubling our efforts to end cancer as we know it. We commend all of those caring for loved ones with prostate cancer and all of those facing it themselves. We stand with you. We encourage all men of the town of Dumfries to get their screening. We encourage the citizens in government agencies, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other interested groups to join in activities in the town of Dumfries and Prince William County that will increase awareness of what we can do to prevent and cure prostate cancer. And I just want to add, this is something that's in my family. So I had a cousin that died at 36 when I was 40. Many years, I'm much older now, but my grandfather, he also had prostate cancer. He didn't die of prostate cancer, but screening is important. Men, is very important to go to the doctor. Let me just put it like that. Your wives and your significant others should not be prodding you to go to the doctor. So please go out and get your screening. Who's this?
Thank you all. Without a doubt, this is a surprise. You asked did I want to speak, you know, my old statement, never met a mic I didn't like, so. But this is near and dear to me, Mr. Tyrell, Mr. Bryan. I am a 4-year survivor of prostate cancer. And I can speak to the fact that screening is vital. I just so happen, I do visit my doctor regularly, and he brought it to my attention that my PSAs had elevated. And he recommended me to a urologist who confirmed after the testing. And that they took 12 samples, 6 came back cancerous. You can imagine when Penny and I was sitting there and the doctor confirmed that all of the things that was going through my mind. Because we didn't have a history of prostate cancer in the family. But wow, that really took me for a loop. But again, the key thing was early recognition. When I went to the oncologist, this happened around Thanksgiving. He allayed all of my fears. He said, "You're not critical." He said, you got time. We caught this early. He said, I wouldn't say wait till June or July, but why don't you go out and enjoy the holiday season, and we'll come back in January, we'll put a plan together. He also said the normal treatment is normally with radiation, because we decided to do the radiation, was 40 doses of radiation. But he said, for you, he said, I'm sure 20 would be adequate. So that lifted a lot of, I'm serious, a lot of concern. Then I did a little research, and one of the captivating numbers that I noticed said people who had their prostate cancer, caught it and had it cured, they were 99% guaranteed to live at least 4 more years. And look, this is my 4th year. So I have met that statistic. But thank you all very much for this. And I think this is vitally important, particularly African-American men. And I agree with you. Make sure you have the medical checkups. Thank you.
Right. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
Mayor, I move we approve the minutes from the September 19th meeting as well as the September 28th meeting.
Second.
Been moved second. Any questions? Everybody had the opportunity to review it? All right. It's been properly motioned second. Seeing no discussion, I'll call for the question. Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
That's a yes for me. All right, next on the agenda, citizen comment period. Was there any citizens signed up to speak?
No, sir, not.
Anybody come in, didn't get the opportunity to sign in? Okay, seeing none, we'll move right into our council comment period. I could start with the quietest one for the night. Councilman Pete, you've been so quiet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to say thank you for our police department. Chief, you may be outside the building here. Just want to say thank you for our police department. I'm not sure if you all noticed, but there's been a nice decrease in the crime around here versus last year. It's a lot quieter, it's a lot more nicer around here, and we're seeing a lot more children play, and that's amazing as always. Then I want to move on to thanking the town manager and the staff that you guys since you've been coming in here and knocking things out. This is you and the staff have been doing an awesome job, and I just want to say thank you for that. I'm still there with the Staff Appreciation Day. You know, I'm still there, or at least doing something for you guys, because again, you guys are doing an outstanding job of putting us where we're at now. Then I want to move on to say thank you. And the farmers market is over. You know, I'm getting a lot of citizens. Hey, what's going on with the farmers market? It's already over, guys. But I do want to state, like the mayor said at our last meeting, that our vegetables and produce and watermelon is still out there for, I'm not for sure how long is that?
Almost November.
Yeah, to the about second week, third week of November, middle of November, he's still out there. Watermelon is great. Vegetables are great. Collard greens are good. Everything. If you like those type of vegetables, I do ask that you still go out there and get some vegetables and produce from Mr. Sessoms that's out there. There, I want to keep everybody on standby because we will be again, as of like we did last year, have our police department versus the community basketball event. We're going to look at our calendar, see what dates fits, and then we're going to get that out to the public, because we had an awesome time there that day. You know, the children was out, the seniors, the families, they had the lawn chairs, cool, it was good, nice laid back music and you know, we were blessed with a nice day that day. So we had an awesome time. I think we ran over the time, actually. We were only supposed to be going about 30 minutes. We stayed out there for about an hour and a half. So again, but that day will be coming, so stand tuned for that. Moving on to our children, as always, that's one of my things that I'll never move away from. Because again, one of my mottos is, I believe that the children are our future. And if we give them some direction, that they'll 10 times out of 10, they'll go in the right path. And if we don't, there's some trouble out there that they can get themselves into. So I like to thank all the parents, the community, the town government for assisting our children and in the direction in their education and things like that. I've had some children ask if we can get some local officials at the games, so just throwing that out there. But we do have a lot of athletes in our area that go to some of our local schools that move on to some pretty nice colleges, that present themselves in a great manner of which we are looking for from the children of our area. And when they go to these colleges, they're kind of amazed at, admin that are there, and we get calls back. They're amazed at what the product of children that are coming out of this area. So I just ask that if you can, whatever sport it is, whatever theatric program it is, or SCAs and things like that, if we can get out there and support our children. They want it. They really want the support. They know we have it there. They know we all love them, but they want to see us in the building. Keep staying with our children. Town manager, again, I want to revert back to you and say thank you. We now finally have water at the park, guys. So there will be no more Councilman Pete bringing water from the local stores and bring you guys water. We have free water at Ginn Memorial Park now. So those of you all that like to have recreational and do basketball events, we have Mr. Willie Tony here, which is the basketball is dedicated to. The basketball court is dedicated to. And then we also they have a lot of flag football programs that they do out there and just have some fun. So, but now we have water at the park, y'all. So please stay hydrated as the water is provided. Again, I want to say I've been seeing the fitness court being utilized heavy. I mean, at a number that I didn't imagine. And I just want to, again, thank the town staff and council for bringing it to the town, because it's really something that our citizens really love to enjoy to do. And again, not everyone wants to drive out of this area. They want to stay in Dumfries to do fitness exercises. And so again, thank you all for that. My last two, we have the homelessness. My concern is of our homelessness that is in the area. And I guess I can get with the council and the town manager and see what avenues can we use to assist in programs and in developing our homeless that are in the area. If you see them, say hi. They're pretty nice. We have some pretty good group of homeless people around here, but they are to be recognized because they are here. And last but not least, I want to thank our seniors all the time. I want to thank our seniors for keeping the wisdom in this town, for keeping the historical moments in this town, not allowing us to forget where we came from as we are molding to upgrade things, but just to keeping the sense of town of Dumfries here. And I'm going to ask the seniors that you continue to do so, continue to pour your wisdom down on this town because it's vitally needed. Again, I can conclude on that, and that's all I have. And thank you all, Mayor.
Councilwoman Peterson. You got to push your microphone, please. Thank you.
I just want to say that it's important that we as women uplift each other and create opportunities for other women when we gain access to spaces. That's why I want to take this opportunity to thank Vice Mayor for always uplifting me and want to acknowledge her as my mentor in my latest journey for the emerging leaders. And I also want to say it's homecoming weekend for Forest Park. Watch out for the babies. Hopefully they'll have a safe homecoming and things will go well this weekend. That's it. Thank you.
Councilman Fields. That's nice.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. All the proclamations that we had this evening and acknowledgements, thank you. A lot of you I've worked with personally with your organizations, ACTS, Ms. Marissa, the planning and so forth. It's been a pleasure over the years to work with the organizations. Mr. Tony, yes, I've had my screening and I stay on top of it. And I encourage men to do so. It's very, very dear to me to, for one, be a veteran and to use the VA system. And I encourage all your veterans, hey, you have no reason not to go because the VA is there for you. You have no reason not to go and get checked out. So if you're over 40 or pushing 40, I think I had my first one at 39 because I didn't want to wait to 40. and subsequently thereafter, because I'm only a couple of years over 40 anyway. So I look forward to continuing to work with you all to push the message. And if you ever need my help, let me know, call me. As some of you have already said that I forgot to answer a text about one of your organizations. So I do apologize on that. But let's keep it going forward. I love to see people here in the council, in the chambers, because like I said, if we don't show you that we care, who else is going to tell you from the town of Dumfries? So that's what we do. That's what we're elected to do. To show you that you care, to show you that we care, and to bring awareness to each and every proclamation, awareness, award that we have here, because somebody's looking, somebody's listening, and someone has got educated just from your presence and your organization being here. So thank you.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. And just very briefly again, I want to congratulate all of those who received proclamations tonight. Thank you for your work in the community. Thank you for your commitment. I just want to share some information with you about some events that we have coming up. I'm a firm believer that faith without works are dead. So we have bring awareness to certain events, but we also feel it's our obligation to empower the community through giving information. So one event that we have coming up is the Pink and Purple Brunch, which sounds really cute, but it's actually an empowering event. We're going to be hosting panel discussion and giving resources about breast cancer as well as domestic violence. So there'll be panel discussions, there'll be resources there. There'll be information about both those things because, as I said earlier, when I spoke on domestic violence, we really need to work hard to kill some of the stigmas that we have surrounding the issue so that we can empower the community to take that back. And that will be on October 27th, beginning at 9. And brunch will be at 11th. And then the domestic violence panel will be at 1 o'clock. Now, the following day, we will have our fall festival. So we're going to have a weekend of fun in Dumfries, of learning, empowerment, and a good time. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you. Are you?
Councilman Brown, did you have any remarks?
Thank you, Mayor. This is going to be short. So what's happening here in the town of Dumfries, we have information on our websites. What I'm encouraging all the citizens of Dumfries is to get active in what's happening here in Dumfries. We are making decisions from this dais that's going to affect you. If we're not getting any input, what we're doing is making that decision based on our beliefs or knowledge. So if you're not actively involved in how we're changing the community, please get involved. Ask questions. The town manager is here to receive any emails, any inquiries. We are here. Stop us on the street. Tell us what your needs are. Tell us what you're looking to see in Dumfries so we can make decisions that are supporting what's your best interest. If we don't get that, again, we're making decisions based upon where we sit right here. So please get involved. And I yield back to Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Brown. That is a perfect segue into my motto. Don't just complain, contribute. You know me, that's what I always say. And Councilman Brown has really just kind of summarized that for me. Councilwoman Peterson, it is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity. And thank you for allowing me to mentor you because I have mentors and I think we all need mentors and I look to learn every day. And so what I would ask you is to pay it forward. That's it. As far as my comments are concerned, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as we all know, and we've all talked about. So let's honor those that are fighting this disease and remember those we have lost. As it's already been mentioned with all of the diseases that we are all fighting, early detection is the key. So consider getting screened. And to echo what Councilwoman, Pro Tem Miles has mentioned, I also invite you to join us at the event. It is our inaugural Pink to Purple event on October 27th, which leads us into the Fall Festival on October 28th. So we are going to have a great weekend. I can't say anything else without sounding repetitive. So I yield. Thank you.
Just want to say great comments from all my colleagues. I think as the mayor of the town of Dumfries, I have probably the best council in the entire United States. So y'all give them a round of applause before I make my comments. And I can say that with from a perspective of being the vice president of the Virginia Municipal League. So I get to hear different problems that different other localities have as sitting on a national organization, that National League of Conference. So I know some of the trauma that goes on in other councils. And I think that here in the town of Dumfries, you have elected a body who is serving you very well. With that, I want to also welcome you all who attended the meeting here today and say thank you for your interest in watching how your town government is being governed. To those of you who are watching the replay or who are catching this on TV or YouTube, thank you for taking time to tune in as well. Councilman Pete let you know fall is in the air. The seasons are changing and the weather is moving into a season where you're going to start to see the youth beginning to transition. Yes, we have some great athletes in this community. Everybody is cheering to the, number 1, number 2, number 3 ranked Freedom. Yes, they whooped up on our Forest Park the other day, but that's okay. We were there cheering them on. I apologize, Forest Park. I didn't make it over to y'all side of the sideline. That wasn't intentional. And some of the kids let me know they saw me on the other side. But I'm apologizing. I didn't make it over to that sideline. But I saw y'all. Thank y'all. Life is precious, and we got to take time to cherish those memories and continue to create those memories amongst the youth and our kids. We as a council right now, we're preparing to go to our annual Virginia Municipal League Conference. We'll leave this weekend. At the conference, we're going to attend sessions featuring a lot of political leaders, a lot of local government experts. There's going to be concurrent workshops covering a wide variety of issues affecting our local government and our governing. It's also an opportunity for us to network with our peers from across the state to hear about issues, to hear about their accomplishments, as well as to share our own challenges and best practices. Many of us up here on this dais, we serve on the various policy committees, as well as I've been on the board for the last 3 years and currently serving as their vice president. I'll be up for president-elect this year at the board meeting. This month, I want to acknowledge is also, in addition to all the lovely proclamations that we gave out, is also Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I'm going to go later on next week to TSI's hosting their 4th annual cybersecurity. I think it's a workshop at the theater over there to learn about the trends and kind of what's important in the aspect of staying safe in the cyberspace. We got to stay aware of the changing things that's happening in the cyber, especially with technology, with our young people, as well as us. We get all kinds of emails and stuff that comes through here. So I'm curious to really learn that. It's also Chiropractic Health Awareness Month. I'm looking forward to later on tonight hearing how this can help us. Chiropractic health, can help us with the opioid crisis that's going on. So I'm looking to hear how that plays a role in that later on from our very own Dr. Reza. It's also, for me, ADHD Awareness Month, Depression Awareness Month, National Book Month, and there's many other awareness days that we could have this month, but we just wanted to take time to recognize a few. A few other events I just want to highlight and bring to you. I'm not going to be repetitive on the ones that was already stated, but I wanted to give the date for the Fitness Court Studio. It's going to be a ribbon cutting on October the 19th, right next to the Ginn Memorial Park. The National Fitness Campaign creates the world's largest free outdoor gym network with a mobile app that comes with it, 7 movement exercises, 1 minute apiece. And that's going to be at 4:30 on October the 19th. Okay. Also, another event, Save the Day. I partnered with Supervisor Andrea Bailey, and we're going to be teeing up for progress. Yes, teeing up for progress in the Potomac District in the town of Dumfries with a golf fundraiser on Friday, October 20th at the Forest Greens Golf Club. Now, just because my name is Wood don't mean I can play like Woods. I just ride on the golf carts, okay? Our fall festival We got the date for that already, the 28th. The Mayor's Ball Community Award Ceremony is going to be held Sunday, October 29th. And my closing food for thought for tonight, because you all are always looking for food for thought. It deals with perspective. It says we don't always see what's there. Sometimes we only see what we've been programmed to see. And until we change the way we see a thing, the thing that we're looking at or the thing that we're thinking about will never change. And that's food for thought. You do the dishes. All right. You guys, that's not, it wasn't for you to laugh. All right. All right, so moving on to reports and presentations. All right, we're gonna meet our historic Dumfries, Virginia site manager tonight to give us a presentation on historic Dumfries. Please make your way. Miss Abigail, is it on? Yes. Give it a round of applause.
Hello, thank you all for the opportunity for me to present on Historic Dumfries, Virginia and the Weems Botts Museum. And to introduce myself, my name is Abigail Alm and I'm the new site manager for the Weems Botts Museum. I started in early July after I graduated from Randolph-Macon College with a degree in archaeology. Which local history wasn't what I thought I'd be doing, but I really love the Weems Botts Museum, and Dumfries history is just, it's so profound and interesting. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity and excited to expand upon Dumfries history and expand and improve the museum to more reflect our community at large. And we have a lot of projects going on short term with the town, like the 275th anniversary of the charter, but then also long term. And I'm really excited to get started with all of that. And for the tour hours, we were closed in July, just while I was trying to figure everything out. Although now we're back up and running for tours and field trips. This month, October, we're doing our Halloween tours at night. So, but then we also were continuing our Children's Day programs every month, sponsored by Churchill Downs. So we were spinning wool. Last weekend, we just made some colonial toys. The kids really liked the Jacob's ladders. And then, yes, right now we haven't really done much. We don't have a lot going on right now, but we're hoping to kind of go into our closing season and be able to plan and prepare and then hit the ground running in the spring with all of our projects. So, but thank you.
Hold on, Ms. Abigail, because this is your first time to council meeting you. I think one-on-one. Councilman Pete?
Oh, yes. How you doing? And thank you for the presentation. Real quick, can you give us a real quick spin on you guys' rates at the museum?
I'm sorry?
Your rates at the museum?
Our rates
Yes.
for just the regular tours, it's $7 for an adult admission.
That's all?
Well, $5 for children, I guess.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you. Because that question has been asking me several times. I didn't know the answer, but thank you for providing the information.
All right, Council, anything else? Well, thank you and welcome aboard. And maybe we'll try to schedule a day. Maybe the all council could come down. You can have an open house and the council can come down and take a tour.
Sounds great.
Those who hadn't seen. All right. Next, oh, did they clap again? All right, no, it's okay. I'm gonna go back for a point of personal privilege, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. We are just going to go back on the agenda to acknowledge one of the proclamations. I see Mr. Moe has made it. General recognition for business work in our community honoring Gerald Moe Mobley of Mosaic Barbershop. Whereas the Town Council of Dumfries recognizes the vital role that business play in our community, contributing to our local economy, job creation, and community spirit. And whereas Gerald Moe Mobley, the proprietor of Mosaic Barbershop, has been a cornerstone of our community for the past 15 years, exemplifying the entrepreneurial spirit and dedication that defines businesses in our town. And whereas Mosaic Barbershop has not only provided exceptional barbering services to our residents, but has also served as a hub of mentorship and training for numerous barbers and stylists, nurturing talent and fostering professional growth within our community. And whereas Gaud Mobley's commitment to craft and his willingness to share his expertise has had a profound impact on the local barbering and styling industry, helping to maintain high standards of professionalism and artistry. And whereas Mr. Mobley's dedication extends beyond his barbershop and his selflessly organized food giveaways, offering free haircuts to those in need, and has been a driving force behind back to school events, ensuring that our children have the tools they need to succeed. And now therefore, we, the Town Council of Dumfries, on behalf of our community, do hereby proclaim our heartfelt recognition for the outstanding business work and contributions of Gaud Mobley of Mosaic Barbershop in our town. We urge all residents to support Mosaic Barbershop and other local businesses throughout this period and beyond, recognizing their invaluable contributions to our community. By order of the Town Council, Derek Wood, Mayor, October 3rd, 2023. Come on up, sir, and accept.
I get nervous when I'm in a group of a lot of people. But this is the first award I've ever received, being in the barber business for 40 years. This is my very first one that a town recognized me in the business. I'm going to thank the town of Dumfries. And since I've been here in the town of Dumfries, everything's been going great. I want to thank you.
Mr. Peak? What? You want to say something? There you go. Oh, go ahead. You can hear you.
Okay, Mr. Mo, want to say thank you for all your contributions that you do to this area. You know, I've been knowing you for several years here. From the Mosaic One that you established and started, and you pulled a lot of good barbers from this area here. And some of them have went on to excel to owning their own barbershop. To when I was first down here as a Serenity Styles, because right here in the town, Triangle Plaza, that you came and took over ownership and made a Mosaic 2. And I want to say thank you for that, because again, even in that Mosaic 2, you pulled a lot of good barbers together, and some of them are off in the mall, you know, on to owning their own shops and doing well and excellent. So again, as a pillar in this community, I want to say thank you for your contributions, and please continue. And that's all, man.
Thank you, sir. Next on our agenda is Chiropractic Health Month presentation from Dr. Reza. Last year, he got a proclamation. This year, he wanted to come back and just talk about the work of chiropractic. Dr. Reza, you can come up to the podium and your presentation is up.
All right. Good. You know, I didn't realize there was a big distance from here to the screen, so I had to kind of download on my phone last minute. I was like, I just can't see that far. I wear glasses. I don't like to show it off, but yeah, there's some weakness in there. All right, so let's see. We get situated. You know, we got to get Instagram on board. So, all right. Okay, I think I'm right on path. Okay, good. It's a good. I got it. Boom. Yep. Got it. I got 2 phones by luck, and you know, we got to use it. All right. Very good. All right. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. Here we go. Well, this was great. There's a lot of great proclamations and I learned a lot. I was just talking to my friend here. We're almost 40, you know, I don't even think about prostate, but that's something we gotta put in together. But I would say as far as proclamation goes, I was honored to have a proclamation for the chiropractic profession by the town of Dumfries last year. So I decided this year to come and use my profession for good, specifically for the town of Dumfries and DMV at large. And where else to start perfectly from is town of Dumfries, because it has a history, as that young lady said, the historian here, of being a leader and a pillar in at least the DMV Virginia area. So I wanted to first take the time to thank the mayor, the vice mayor, the council members for giving me the opportunity, because this is going to be a very serious talk. You know, I joke around a lot on social media, but I'm going to put some things in perspective that's going to hit home with a lot of people here. First of all, contrary to popular belief, chiropractic medicine as a profession has grown at large. From educational perspective, we have 4 years undergrad is mandatory, pre-med is mandatory, 4 years of chiropractic school, where we learn toe-to-toe with the medical community, internal disorders, musculoskeletal disorders. But we really are trained more as a profession towards chronic musculoskeletal disorders. A lot of people come in with chronic pain. And there's a difference between chronic and acute. Chronic obviously means it's been there for years, months, at least 3 months is the definition of chronic. But people come to me for years of pain. And what I've noticed, and if anybody follows me on any social media notice, is that there's a lot of minorities come to me. You know, I'm a minority myself, I'm Middle Eastern. I was born in the Middle East. But if you look at my social media and I geared my practice towards a minority group because of the fact that I relate really well to the minority community. I was raised in a minority community. And so I wanted to kind of give back. And awareness is one of the things, because a lot of people think that they can't afford chiropractic care. They think it's too expensive. They didn't know insurance pays for it, for example. They don't know even out of pocket it's cheaper. They don't think, you know, you go to a doctor, you just see them, that's like $500, you don't even know what happened. But it's a lot cheaper in general across the board with the chiropractic community, and you get better care. So when it comes to musculoskeletal pain, what do people do? I can tell you what the allopathic community does. Allopathic community basically means the medical community, medicine specifically, because anything is medical, dentistry medical, chiropractic medical, podiatry medical, but they kind of took that, hijacked it for themselves. So allopathic is the exact description for their profession. So the problem is they do great with different stuff, but when it comes to musculoskeletal pain, they prescribe opioids. And we have a big epidemic. And I used to work at big medical institutions, and I still do. George Washington University, right now I'm a professor at the School of Medicine. And, you know, I have 4 or 5 clinics right now from DMV to Atlanta, Georgia. And I can tell you across the board, people are sick of taking medication and they have no choice. But there's evidence that doctors, physicians simply don't care about minority pain. It became a fact. And there's a lot of evidence for it, and it's peer-reviewed scientific journals. And I have it all. If the board needs it, anytime I can send it to you. 3 million people, Americans, suffer from opioid disorder. 3 million. 500,000 people in the US depend on heroin. Fentanyl, 100 times more potent than heroin, and give it out like it's candy in the allopathic community. 295 people lose their lives every single day to drug overdose. 295 people every day, daily today. And 7 of them are in the state of Virginia, every day, daily. 7 people died unnecessarily. Why? Because, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, is because when they have pain, when you have back pain, you go to your medical doctor. I'm sure most of you guys have. Do they ever ask, how do you sleep at night? What's your ergonomics look like? How you sit in front of the computer? What's causing you pain? What they say, okay, take this, should be good. What is that? Look, okay, you let's say take it, I'd be good. But what caused it in the first place? Do they even talk about that? That's the problem. How do you pick, what's your job? You sit in front of a computer, okay. What's your job? Are you a taxi driver? Okay, let's figure that out. Where is your seat? I mean, how much medication can you give? If I'm sitting like this all day, how many pills do I have to take for my back pain to go away? Then you're going to take it. Then you're going to take it. Then you're going to feel good with it. And a lot of people have addictive personalities. They can get addicted. And so what happens in minority communities, because what happens, let's be honest here, well-off communities, have more access to knowledge about what is acupuncture, what's meditation, what is ergonomics. They have scenarios where they have been taught that from different perspectives, they've tried that. But the minority community, the poorer communities, sometimes they don't. They just go to the doctor. The doctor says, I don't care, just take this. And I've seen it daily. Baltimore, I worked at Baltimore for almost 2 years. I was a clinical instructor of faculty at the University of Maryland School of Medicine as well for 2 years before George Washington University. And so the issue is that when the patient comes to me at Baltimore, they already been overloaded with so much medication. And I'm just like, what is going on? And they just like, next pill, next pill. Oh, okay. And then they get sensitized to it so that it doesn't work anymore. So they give them something stronger. Because they come and complain to the doctor. The doctor's like, all right, take this one and take this one and take this one. And they get addicted to it. And then that stuff doesn't work anymore. The doctor says, well, I don't want to lose your license. So they're like, I'm not prescribing to you anymore. So what happens? They got to go towards heroin. 3 out of 4 heroin users started off with prescription meds. 75% of all heroin users start with a doctor writing a note saying, take this. Why are they not utilizing the chiropractic community? Why? I would tell you why, honestly, is the big pharma. They want to sell their medication. So they make us the devil. Oh, don't go, they're going to kill you. Well, 300 people die every day just from prescription, like just overdose. Nobody talks about that, let alone bad practice, let alone bad surgeries, let alone instead of taking out the right kidney, they take out the left kidney, let alone instead of working on this part, they work on that part. Let alone all that people die from it. Let alone all the misdiagnoses. Let alone all the people that come to me for back pain, find out they have kidney disease. Let alone all the people who come to me for, I've had cases where somebody comes to me for rib pain, I palpate, and I find out just riddled with cancer, breast cancer. And the doctors doesn't even touch them to just see. They just say, oh, it hurts. And the doctor happened to know me. They know how good of a work I do, so they just send it off to me thinking I'm going to fix them. But me just going, okay, let me see. What is that lump? There's another one. There's another one. There's another. We're talking about breast cancer awareness. I think Vice Mayor was saying something, or one of the council members. And so they don't examine. Doctors don't touch patients. It's wild out there, the things I've seen. And so when it comes to that, there's a big issues, but minority communities specifically, there are many evidence-based studies showing that pain in minority communities, especially Black Americans, are underestimated and undertreated compared to whites. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And according to published studies in the National Academy of Sciences, this is Hoffman et al. Is the publisher, the research for it, in 2016 said that, and this is 2016, there's actually more academia on this, more recent. The medical community falsely believes that Black people are biologically more tolerant of pain. So they're just like, okay, so what happens is Black person goes, doctor, oh, you'll be fine. Go home. Okay, then come back in a month later, doc, I'm dying here. My back. Okay, no, just drink enough water. Go home. Go home. Okay, 4 months later, coming back. Okay, it's really bad. All right, take this medicine. Oh, okay. So I take this, doc. As soon as I take, it doesn't work anymore. All right, take this. Now take fentanyl. Then after a while, they don't want to put their license at risk. They're like, okay, well, I can't give you fentanyl forever. You're on your own, buddy. Thanks for coming, you know? And so that becomes a problem. So as a result, minorities are less likely to receive appropriate medical treatment for pain. So that becomes an issue right there. Now, I wanted to talk about the chiropractic approach because this is so important. I feel like it will save lives just from a perspective of getting medical checkup, getting your prostate check, getting breast cancer checkup. But from perspective, so you take less medication so people don't die from it. The chiropractic community in general addresses many different factors. Yes, you come with back pain, we fix you. But we talk about your ergonomics, as I was talking about earlier, discover the root of the pain. Because the issue is that the root of the pain is where the solution is. And if the doctor can't figure out why you came here in the first place, how can he really fix you? It's impossible. You can't just, if I stand like this and I have back pain, I don't care how many pills you give me, how many shots you put in my back, I'm always going to have back pain. It just doesn't work until I stand straight. So structure dictates your function. And leads me to correction of biomechanical posture is one of the main causes of chronic mechanical musculoskeletal pain, which all you guys have, maybe even just sitting on those chairs right now. You'd be like, oh, my back's so tight, you know? And so chiropractic community, what it does, they reduce the need for opioids and unnecessary invasive procedures and surgeries. And there's been many, many studies published more recently, a few years ago in Spine Journal, where it's noticed that if your first point of contact, same back pain, 100 people go to for the same exact back pain. 100 people go to a surgeon first as a first point of contact. They're 90% more likely to get surgery. If the same 100 people go to a chiropractor first, they're like 2% more likely to get surgery. Same back pain, same 100 people. 100 of them go to first surgery first. 95 of them will be like, okay, you need to have surgery. And the opposite is true, 2 people out of 100. Why? That's because they don't really look at the root of the problem. If all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail, right? That's the problem. You go to the surgeon, that's all he knows. But you go into the wrong, first point of contact is the wrong person. That's the problem. I'll throw something else at you as far as fentanyl goes. In the US, first of all, fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine, causing more deaths among people under 50 years old in the United States than cancer, heart disease, suicide, homicide, and accidents, according to U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and the CDC. I mean, I just named all the problems here, and drugs are killing more than all of them.
Wow. Thank you for that well educational. That's all of that, doctor. I always tease Dr. Reza as he switches from me from Dr. Reza to Professor Reza and give us a full lecture. But it's always good to the point. The first time I took my wife to see Dr. Reza, and she told me to share this. She said I was okay with sharing this, but she was on some type of medication that was causing her hair to fall out. After one visit, I don't even know what the procedure, he did something and he did something with her ear, and she never went back to taking that medication again. And all the pain that they had been prescribing her for many years had went away, just by fixing and making some type of correction. And so, she told me to make sure to share that, just talking about just those type of medicines that most doctors just prescribe. And so it is one of those things that people don't know to correct. I've taken people and sent people there whose back's been bent over, come back to tell me that they've had no more pain. So we appreciate you really educating and talk about how to get people off opioids, because it is a major addiction that's going on, that the opioid, and that's the only thing, in the military, we call Motrin 800 the catch-all drug. Because every time we went, we just walked in and we walked out with a full bottle of Motrin 800 milligrams.
Wow.
It's just what they gave us. So we just knew that's what we was getting, no matter what we had. So we didn't care. My shoulders for years were all messed up because I had my little bottle of Motrins. And so it's just a pill society. So I think it's very important, to mix it in and just to bring in that. Councilman Pete.
I definitely want to say thank you for this presentation and bringing us up to date on the statistics of what's going on in the world today. On a personal experience, this is kind of like important that I was really tuning into what you were saying, because I've been hit by 3 cars in my back. I was up once, one of those accidents, I was up by the traffic lights. So I definitely want to say, and what was advised to me was that I take fentanyl on my way to the hospital. No.
Wow.
No. If I'm able to tolerate, this was the question statement that I asked, if I'm able to tolerate this pain, do I have to take that? I've heard of, this is where it starts. And the head went down. If you can take this, if you can tolerate the pain, don't take this. I said, thank you for the advice. So again, I want to thank you for sharing that with our citizens. And I might be looking to some visits for you for my back also, because every here and there, there's, as I get older, being 44 now, I do know that things are going to happen. So again, thank you for sharing this information to us.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you. And thank you, Doctor, for sharing this information. A couple things. First of all, I want to thank you for pointing out the opioid addiction, because a lot of times when we think about opioids, it's not a problem that necessarily originated in communities of color. So there's a lot of times there's still a mindset that is not necessarily our problem, but as time has gone on, we are greatly impacted by that. What we found though, and also ironically, I was reading a study the other day about medical students and how in some of these medical schools, I don't want to name anybody and put anyone out, that there is a widespread belief that people of color can tolerate pain, and they don't know how, and the professors don't know how to dispel them of this. So these people are going through school and then they're graduating and they're practicing medicine with these beliefs, right? So what we found is that, and then you get no argument from me about chiropractor. My best friend is actually in school to become a chiropractor. What we find is that there's not really an argument about the successfulness of chiropractic. It's about access. So are there any resources that you can share with us about individuals who may have economic disadvantages, that may not be able to afford, may not have insurance? Are there any, pro bono wouldn't be the word, but is there anything that Medicaid sponsors? Are there any free services that individuals can access so that they are not resorting to self-medication or opioids or anything like that?
That's a great question. So I would say in general, most insurances pay for chiropractic care on a general health plan.
Aetna will not pay for it.
Depends on your plan. I have Aetna on the pay source, so I guess it just, okay. So that's something you can definitely talk to the health plan to see how to add that. It is illegal for them not to. So legally, they have to. It would be a discrimination against medical providers. So I would say that just double check that. I will be surprised, and I like to actually know that, because if that's the case, I have contacts to the American Chiropractic Association. Well, they will take that up. So we need to. I'd like to double check that actually with you in the future, if possible, just to kind of access, because if that's happening to you, then it's happening to a lot of people. secondary wise, that's the second portion of my coming here today is to find a way. And I was actually going to start with, I heard Councilman Pete saying something about staff day. I like to bring my whole staff here to do stretching massage with you guys. If you guys are interested, we can work that out. Okay.
Work that out.
All right, good. We can work that out. So we'll bring some people to do massage and stretching for you guys. But that would be something that would be good in Dumfries to have. If you have a community health center here, I'd be willing to work with them to start a chiropractic portion. And there's models of that across the US. And I have professors of mine that started community health centers, federally funded community health centers in the United States, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, and elsewhere. We can use their help to kind of start that here too, where there's a pilot program where we can bring newly licensed chiropractic residents here, and for very cheap, because they're just residents, to work in the community health centers to help the community. But in addition to that, I would say most health insurance have access to it. As far as cost goes, I would say on average, there's a lot of tons of low-key chiropractic. The Joint is one of them. For $29.99, you can go get it, see a chiropractor, right? So we have franchise themes that are pretty cheap, and we have also franchise themes that are very expensive. So it just depends on, and you get pretty good, even on a lower scale, you get pretty good treatment, right? So I would say that there is access to chiropractic care for fairly cheap of $30. You can get it, yeah.
So to that, two things. Is there a comprehensive list that I could share online through social media? Like you said, you mentioned the Joint that you'd be willing to share. And then also right downstairs, Greater Prince William is actually a community health center. They have locations all over Prince William County. I'm not sure if you're aware. But that will be a good resource to get started. They're all over Prince William County. They have locations in Manassas and in Woodbridge and right here in this building.
Yeah.
So that would actually be a great starting point. I would be really excited for you to do business with them and bring something like that here to Dumfries.
I'd be more than happy to. Actually, I was talking to the mayor earlier. I was like, I got to find a way to get into Dumfries and open up a clinic here. So we're talking about that, looking at spaces, and that would be a great place for a good start of helping the community, kind of low cost, high value chiropractic care that will facilitate under my brand. Yeah, we can work that out if you guys can help me out with some connections there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I take it we have your information. We can facilitate some communication between you and their board.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it'll have a positive outcome. So in the meantime, if you do have a comprehensive list of your business partners that have some care that's accessible for individuals, not myself, I mean, but for individuals who may not have insurance, or like you mentioned, that taxi driver who does not have a lot of funds available in that disposable income, but may have $29.99 to go see a chiropractor. If you have that list that we could share online, that will be very beneficial for our folks.
Absolutely. We can get that. Yep. Thank you. That was great.
Vice, Councilman Brown.
So thank you. You warned us that we was gonna learn something. A serious conversation. Thank you for that. There's things that we assume and we don't have facts to back up our assumptions. But most of the things that you said, my mind was in that same place. Just didn't understand the connection there. Presentation was excellent, and I would like to bring you in to talk to some other folks.
Okay.
This forum was too short for this, but the education part is what I think we're lacking. I think we're just lacking that piece. I have never been to a chiropractor, and it's the cracking of the back, and that's what I see. So more of a fear thing, but I'm not on drugs either. So that's the difference. However, I just think if we need you in another forum with some people that really need to hear this, that would help a lot too. So I can get you, well, we have your information, so I'll get connected with you.
That'd be fantastic.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
I wanted to say, I think last year or the year before, he came in and spoke to the senior citizens.
Last year.
Last year, it spoke to the senior citizens and just taught them basic stretching exercises for them in motion and lotion. I think before I ever saw Dr. Rizza, he chased me down to come see him for maybe like two years, maybe 2-3 years. Until I actually bent over and actually hurt my back. And when my disc, my L4, L5 started to bulge out, just the lower back, and it began to pinch my sciatic nerve where I actually fell to the ground, right? And couldn't lift myself up and stand up. And he promised me if I came in 2 to 3 times a week that within a month, if it wasn't me standing up straight, then I was probably gonna have to get surgery. And within, I think 2 weeks, I think after the first visit, we were 25, 50% better. And then within a week, we were 100% better. And then the disc went back properly. And it just comes because I lift a lot of 40-pound and 50-pound boxes all day and don't use my knees. And I'm just bending it and picking up and I'm throwing wood and stuff in places. And so it's just lessons learned. And when I go now, not because I need to go, but I just go for maintenance, once a month or once every other month, just because motion is lotion and the stretching. Right.
Absolutely.
I take his educational things and I switch it around and I take his complex sayings and make it very simple. Vice Mayor.
So, excuse me, when Pro Temp Miles was talking about the access and you were saying, no, everyone can get it. I was shaking my head no, because when you were saying, yes, everyone can get it and everyone can have it and it's illegal for it to not be available. The reason I was shaking my head no is because I was like, just because it's available doesn't mean that everyone can have it. Because that's when we start talking about equity. So I appreciate that eventually you brought it home when you started talking about there are places like The Joint and you started talking about places that, are more within reach when you start saying places that offer $29.99 type services. That's important because if your audience doesn't feel like it's accessible to them, because to Pro Temp Miles's point, it's not available on her plan. There may be other people and it's not available on their plan because they don't have the right plan. So they may think that they can't have it because they may not have the right plan. They may not have the plan that can afford that. And so they don't think that they can have it because it may be illegal for them not to have it, but it's about whether or not they can afford it. And so it's not accessible to them. And equity is always a question that we have to ask, whether or not it's equitably accessible to everybody. So I appreciate you finally bringing that home so that everyone knows that you can get it. Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper to find it, but it's out there for you. So thank you for bringing that point home. And I do hope that you and Pro Temp Miles do connect and she can get that information so she can share it and that it is made more accessible to people of all income ranges.
Yeah, for sure. And just to make a point, sometimes I think about things that I know by now have been portrayed to. And when I talk generally, I can see how there could be a miscommunication there. But I would say that I know there's laws against federally, not having chiropractic care is a discrimination federally within health plans. So, but I'm not too specific on private plans. So now I'm just kind of rethinking that. But I do want to get with her to kind of revisit that and talk to the American Chiropractic Association to see if we can more equitize it. Maybe there's loopholes where we can get Congress to pass and certain things to add to it for the future. So we can get the town of Dumfries to work with the American Chiropractic Association to advance that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Still no more questions. We thank you for your time here today. Thank you always.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And I look forward to coming over here, stretching everybody out with my whole staff. So let me know.
All right.
All right.
See you soon. At this time, I'm gonna give you all a quick stretch break. So we'll come back here because you all have been sitting for longer than an hour. And in the good practice of chiropractic health, come back here at 8:40 and we'll hit the gavel.
Yeah, I got
All right, we're moving to our action items. Action. Read all about it. All right, action item A is a public hearing to amend the zoning text ordinance to chapter 70th, article 1 and 5, the code of the town of Dumfries to update the non-conforming signs and highway realignment or condemnation sections to comply with the Code of Virginia, section 33.2-1230. The Director of Planning, Community and Economic Development, Mr. Tabor.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor Pro Tem, and members of council. Can we bring up the item in the agenda? Well, and this is a proposed amendment to address a specific situation where legal non-conforming billboard signs are impacted by eminent domain actions, allowing their relocation to a nearby location as practicable. Can we go to the next and the next and the next? Okay, thank you. So standalone billboards within the town of Dumfries were constructed prior to the adoption of the town code zoning section, and therefore they are considered non-conforming uses. In the code, no such non-conforming use and or structure shall be moved in whole or in part to any portion of the lot or parcel other than that occupied by such use and or structure. The proposed amendment would allow a legal non-conforming billboard sign that is impacted by eminent domain action to be relocated to another area on the same parcel. Currently, there are 4 billboards within the town of Dumfries that are non-conforming uses. 2 will be impacted by pending eminent domain action associated with roadway widening projects. And thank you. So this is the location of one billboard within the town, and it's near the intersection of Wayside Drive and Route 1. We don't anticipate will be impacted by the Route 1 widening project, which will be farther south. Next slide, please. This is a second billboard near 234 and Route 1 at Stagecoach Road. And it is anticipated that this billboard will be impacted by the Route 234 interchange project. Next slide, please. This is the 3rd billboard location, and it is near the Dumfries Shopping Plaza, east of Fraley Boulevard, Route 1. And it is anticipated that it will be impacted by the Route 1 widening project. And next slide, please. And this is the 4th billboard north of Tebbs Lane and west of Main Street. And this will not be impacted by the Route 1 widening project. So it's anticipated that 2 of the current billboards will be impacted. The Planning Commission voted to recommend approval of the item, and staff also recommends approval of the item. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Just one that I have, is there any financial implications to the movement of the 2 to the town?
To my knowledge, no. And our Public Works Director is working on the widening projects, and she would be able to respond to any questions about the widening projects. But it's my understanding that there is no financial impact to the town.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So you asked my first question. My second question was, for those that are impacted by the eminent domain, do they have a conform by date? And is the town postured to enforce that, or how does that work? Is that something that VDOT is handling?
I guess really our Public Works Director works more closely with the widening project. So she would be able to respond to questions related to the widening project.
So if we pass this is saying that we're allowing it in a non-conforming state because it's already existing non-conforming.
Okay.
So now we're gonna allow it. So there is no enforcement once we allow them to operate in a non-conforming status.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I misunderstood. I thought that because the language in here talks about the fact that they are being impacted by eminent domain with the widening.
Yes.
So I thought that meant that they were being forced to relocate, which is what I thought I read somewhere.
That's
That's
true.
what I'm- Right,
That's true.
so
Mhm.
they are being forced to relocate.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so then that goes back to my question, then,
Mhm.
as far as them being forced to relocate,
Mhm.
do they have a conforming date for their relocation? And are we enforcing that?
Ms. Previous White's gonna have to speak as to whether there's a date with respect to the highway project. At an outside date, if they're not back up new location within 2 years, they lose their non-conforming.
Thank you. That's what I was
So,
looking for.
But shorter than that time, it's likely to be within the context of the project.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's what I was looking for because that was my understanding of how things like that typically work, thank you.
Oh, you said.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I got you. I thought you were talking about the same, okay. I missed the relocation part. Got it.
That's okay.
All
Thank
right, so we look, Mr. Fields.
Question, who owns these signs currently?
They are privately owned and each one has a separate owner.
Each one has a separate owner.
Yes.
I didn't know all these years.
And I mean, I think with billboards, they often the property owner will lease the space to a company to install and maintain and change, the signage. But the property itself is owned by a specific entity or person.
Councilman Peak.
Oh, yes. Ms. White, if you don't mind, can you give me clarity on the matter that Vice Mayor was speaking of, just for clarifications, please?
On the relocation,
Yes.
the widening projects.
Yeah, for the citizens.
So he's asking about Route 1 widening and he's asking about the 234 improvement exchange. with the
No,
billboards.
I'm asking about the compliance with the eminent domain, if the businesses have to move or not, or relocate or not.
Are we talking about businesses or are we talking about the sign?
The signage,
Right, so they do have
the
to move.
billboards, that's what I'm talking about.
They do have to move because the signs wind up being in the middle of the road if they don't move. So they have to move the sign. The way our ordinance currently reads, they're not allowed to do that because it's not conforming. That's inconsistent with the state. So we're changing it. The state says if it's there already and through eminent domain, if they're forced to move, they should be allowed to relocate on the same parcel of land.
And currently, do we have any that are interested in relocating at the time or no?
Well, there's two that have to. One is at LKQ at the interchange, and the other one is Mr. Manderfield's property right next to the Dumfries Shopping Center.
No, I know, I understand that they do have to move. Are they looking to relocate at the time any place else now, currently?
Are they looking to relocate now?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. I have not spoken to any of the sign owners personally. I haven't spoken to Mr. Manderfield in quite some time. So I don't know if you know about billboards, but they're very lucrative. So they don't want to move them or lose them, I should say, if they don't have to. So if it's a choice between moving and losing, they will definitely move it.
Yeah, because that was one of my concerns in moving on with that. It's a little part of our advertising in the area. So that was my concern if they were going into any other localities within the town. But thank you for the clarity.
Do we collect any revenue off of the leases on the billboards?
No, it's private.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
They are all privately owned.
So do we collect any tax revenue from the billboards?
Property taxes.
Just,
would
no,
be-
I know from the business owner, but no, we don't collect any from the leases.
No, they're not our leases. Those are leases.
So we only get property taxes for the real estate, but the business, we get nothing. Okay, just wanted to ask that question.
Thank you.
If I could follow up on Councilman Pete's question, I have communicated with at least one of the owners who will be impacted, and they are definitely interested in relocating on the same parcel.
That is excellent. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you, Ms. White, and thank you also, Mr. Taylor. That's what I'm looking for, to see if I get it that we losing two. Well, hearing that now, that we may still have the chance of keeping an additional one. So that's good. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions on the staff report, I will now open up our public hearing. This has been properly advertised 2 weeks in all our papers and everything. And so now I'm going to open up our public. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak? Okay, is there anyone that came in that wanted the opportunity to speak on this billboard change ordinance? Seeing none, our public hearing is now closed. All right. Council, any further questions on the staff report or a motion based on the staff recommendation? Mr. Pete.
Oh, yes, I'd like to make a motion that we moved on the admin changes that are presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second to amend the zoning text ordinance to chapter 70, article 1 and 5 of the Code of Virginia to update the non-conforming signs and highway realignment or condemnation section to comply with the Code of Virginia 33.2-1230 on a motion made by Councilman Pete, second by Councilman Fields. Seeing no discussion, I will now call for the question. Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. That motion carries 7-0. All right, our next public hearing is to adopt a resolution for the naming of the rescue building. We're going to ask our Director of Public Works, Ms. Chonay Provis White. Welcome back to the podium, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. Tonight, we are here to host a public meeting to rename, a public hearing to rename the Dumfries Triangle Rescue Squad located at 3800 Graham Park Road. The building was purchased by the town in 2001 with the intent to repurpose the building for community activities. Since it will no longer serve as a rescue squad, a few council members and citizens would like to rename the building. Staff has received 2 such requests, one from Ms. Carol Keys Morgan and one from Ms. Gwen Washington. Ms. Monroe would like the building to be named in honor of her late father, who started the Dumfries Triangle Rescue Squad, and to whom the land was dedicated for the building. In her letter, Ms. Keys Morgan says, "Dear Mayor Wood, I hear that the Dumfries City Council is planning to rename the former Dumfries Rescue Squad building located on Graham Park Road as it transitions to a community center. Please consider naming the building to honor my father, the late William Francis Keys, in recognition of his previous ownership of that property and the previous dedication of that building to him as the founder of the Dumfries Triangle Rescue Squad, who volunteered thousands of hours as a fireman and rescue squad EMT for the benefit of his beloved Dumfries community. He and his wife, Carol C. Keys, were longtime supporters of the Volunteer Rescue Squad and also served as volunteers in other organizations, including the Potomac Hospital Auxiliary, as volunteer EMTs. If naming the building in his honor is not possible, Perhaps you would consider naming the adjacent open space be named the William Francis Keys Park, as our former neighbor Blair Glenn Ginn's adjacent land is named Ginn Park. My father acquired the Grand Park Road property in 1943 after his Keys' family farm on Joplin Road was confiscated by the U.S. government for expansion of the Quantico Marine Corps base. The Keys' family farm has been in his family for generations since the Scottish ancestors were forced to migrate to the colonies in the mid-1700s after being dispossessed of their lands. Members of the Keys family continued to reside in the Dumfries area since that time. I respectfully ask that you consider renaming the Dumfries Volunteer Rescue Squad building or the open space as a park in honor of my father, William Francis Keys, and his contribution to the Dumfries community. I would be happy to provide additional family history if requested. Sincerely, Ms. Carol E. Keys Morgan. Excuse me. Ms. Gwen Washington has also submitted a request to have the building named in honor of her late husband, Clyde N. Washington, Jr. Mr. Washington was an active member of the Dumfries community. Although it is not written in the letter on the public notice, Ms. Washington would like to add her husband's middle initial, having the official name being Clyde N. Washington, Jr. Community and Recreation Center. Ms. Washington writes, "Dear Town of Dumfries, I hope this message finds you well and thriving. Today, I write with heart filled with immense love and admiration for my late husband, Clyde Washington, Jr. In remembrance of his incredible life and lasting impact on our community, I humbly request your consideration and honor of his memory in a special and meaningful way. Clyde Washington Jr. was a remarkable man who wore many hats, leaving an indelible mark in various aspects of Dumfries fabric. For an incredible 28 years, Clyde served the citizens of the town of Dumfries that he loved. His years of servicing made him the longest serving council member in the history of our beloved town. His dedication to public service for his love of our community were unparalleled, making him an exceptional leader and a role model for all. Beyond his council duties, Clyde devoted himself to the noble professions of coaching and teaching. For 25 years in Prince William County, he passionately shared his knowledge and wisdom as an esteemed educator. Overall, Clyde was an educator for 35 years. Teaching vocational education and coaching football at Garfield High School, Clyde touched the lives of countless students, shaping their minds and inspiring them to reach their fullest potential. Clyde's impact as a mentor and coach extended far beyond the sports field. He believed in the power of guidance and encouragement, which led him to support aspiring leaders like Councilman Willie Toney, helping him realize their dreams and ambition. Clyde's nurturing and supportive nature played a vital role in shaping future leaders and fostering a sense of community within our town. As we honor Clyde's legacy, it's only fitting to commemorate his life's work by naming the old rescue building after him. Renaming it the Clyde Washington Jr. Community and Recreation Center would be a beautiful tribute to his unwavering commitment to public service, his profound influence as an educator, and his dedication to nurturing young minds. The town of Dumfries holds a special place in Clyde's heart, and he always strived to make it a better place for its residents. The Clyde Washington Jr. Community and Recreation Center will stand as a symbol of his selfless service, inspiring future generations to continue his legacy of compassion, mentorship, and community building. I understand that the decision rests with the town council, and I humbly request that your thoughtful consideration of this proposal. Clyde's tireless dedication to Dumfries and his profound impact on the citizens make him truly deserving of this honor. In the spirit of cherishing his memory, let us unite to create a lasting tribute to a man who devoted his life to the growth and prosperity of our town. The Clyde Washington Jr. Community Recreation Center will be a beacon of inspiration, a testament to his enduring contribution, and a symbol of our town's gratitude. Thank you for taking the time to read my heartfelt request. May Clyde's memory continue to shine brightly in the hearts of all who knew him, and may his legacy forever guide us toward building a stronger and more united town of Dumfries. With heartfelt gratitude and warm regards, Wynn Washington and family. At the last September 19th council meeting, staff recommended the building be renamed in honor of Mr. Washington. And with that, I'm open for questions.
All right, any questions before we open up the public hearing? From on the two letters? Okay, Mr. Brown, question.
So there was a request to add the middle initial, correct?
Yes, sir.
And does that doesn't have to be resubmitted because of that change?
That would be the clerk would have to answer that question.
Mr. Mayor, in response to Councilman Brown's question, I don't see any need for resubmission. You just should include that in your resolution if you decide to adopt it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Seeing no more discussion. Oops, seeing no more discussion, I'll turn to the clerk to see if anyone came to speak. Okay. Mr. Tony will take his remarks from the last meeting. That's all right. All right. Anybody else signed up? Okay. Does anybody come in that didn't get the opportunity to speak for the Keys family or the Washington family or anybody at all? Okay. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. All right, Chair Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we approve the resolution to rename the Dumfries Triangle Rescue Squad to the Clyde M. Washington Junior Community and Recreation.
The M or N?
And I'm sorry, the Clyde N. Washington Junior Community and Recreation Center.
A
Okay.
second.
All right. It's been properly motioned and second. All right, seeing any further discussion, Councilman P?
We call it a question discussion.
Did you have a question?
Oh, no, not a question, but just a comment on it real quick. Just want to say, thank you to the Washington family for your many years of service and contributions to this community. It's a remarkable amount of experience in mentoring the youth and tireless. That word was key to me. Tireless efforts in mentoring the community. 28 years, that's amazing. Those are the type of things that I'm looking for within this community as I speak of wisdom and allowing the town to have ownership of this town. I'm allowing the town citizens to continue to own this town. Those are the type of things that I'm looking for that are exciting to me. So again, to the Washington family, I want to say thank you for your interest in wanting to have Mr. Washington Jr., Mr. Clyde Washington Jr., my correction, name a part of this building here and a part of this community as we are looking to have this building grow and do something amazing for these children.
Yeah, I had just want to say in looking at this, I had the opportunity, when me and Miss Washington, we got elected together to get counsel. You know, her husband got to counsel both of us as we were young elected officials in here. And so him just teaching us the ropes coming in here, because Ms. Washington never wanted to be in politics, but we both kind of got pushed in together. So it was a pleasure to be able to spend those early years while we were able to be in that present. And he definitely had that infectious laugh that, you know, I always loved to see in that smile. So he definitely was. I was able to gain some wisdom and some insight from him as well during that time. So with that, there is a motion to request to name the Dumfries Triangle Rescue Squad after our longest serving council member, Mr. Clyde N. Washington Jr. Seeing no further discussion, I will now call for the question. All right, Councilman P.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, Councilman Fields, I was waiting.
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. That motion carries 7-0. Congratulations. Walker. All right, next on our agenda is a public hearing to adopt the resolution amending the town code requiring criminal background checks. Town manager, the floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna sub in for a moment on this.
Okay.
What we're intending to do is to make sure that the processes in the town are consistent with the state code requirements. Perhaps in the time that the statute was updated, the town did not update its processes. So that's the purpose of this ordinance, and it will enable the working directly as they have over time through the chief of police with the state police central criminal record exchange in order to do background checks of police.
Council, any questions on the town attorney report? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Did anyone sign up to speak? Okay, anyone come in want to speak about the criminal background check change? Okay, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. All right. Council, any further, Mr. Councilman Pete?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amendments for the background check for employees.
Second.
All right. It's been motion and second to adopt the resolution amending the town code requiring background checks. All right, seeing no further questions. Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Councilman Brown. Aye. Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilman Pete.
Yes.
See yes for me. That motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution authorizing the scheduling of a public hearing on a conditional use application, CUP 23-002, submitted by Dumfries Purchaser LLC to permit a convenience store with gasoline sales, with off-premise wine and beer sales, food service, and electrical vehicle charging stations as accessory uses at 3600 Point Center Court. We are asking that a motion be made to schedule it for October 17th, 2023. Sorry, there's too many 20s. Just 2023. All right. Mr. Councilman Pete.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the 3600 Possum Point convenience store.
You changing the motion? You want me to read this? Yeah. So, yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, it's always fine for council members to refer to the draft resolution that's in your package. So you don't have to read these long headings and everything else we put in it to make sure we meet code requirements. So just a thought.
Something different.
No, I thought Councilman Pete.
Oh, what he said,
For a shorthand way to do this, so I
yeah.
recommend.
Yeah, I read out the way it should read. You read it again, go to vote. Okay, so moved. He wants to move what I said.
Okay, so I second what's been so moved.
Okay. All right, so the motion on the floor is to schedule a public hearing on conditional use application CUP 23-002. Okay. All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll call for the question. Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Yes.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
All right. Move forward with scheduling of that public hearing. Next action item is an ordinance initiating consideration of a town code zoning text amendment to allow consideration of a comprehensive sign plan within the B1 zoning district. We're going to ask our Director of Planning and Community and Economic Development, Mr. Tabor, to come back forward.
Mr. Mayor, as Mr. Tabor is coming forward, he's going to tell you this in greater depth, but there's a misnomer as ordinance. It should just be resolution, and you have an appropriate resolution in your package. But I just wanted to note that too, if you were looking at the agenda.
Indeed, we did replace the item in your packet, and it should read resolution as opposed to ordinance. And we would request that the resolution initiating consideration of the ordinance be adopted. It would essentially allow for a comprehensive sign plan to be considered within the B1 district, zoning district, general business district. The council adopted an ordinance allowing for the comprehensive sign plan to be considered within the PMUD district previously, and this would extend that consideration within the B1 district as well.
Okay. Council, any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilman Brown?
Was there a reason why we just stay with the PMUD and not the B1?
Thank you. Yes, so I believe, well, that was prior to my tenure here, but it was adopted with the consideration of the Roses development. And that is a PMUD district, so it was associated exclusively with that development. And that's why it was approved within the PMUD district.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm familiar with more than Mr. Tabors at this point, although I think he's learning fast about the Rose development. That was a comprehensive sign package with the PMUD district that was approved for the Rose. So that was limited with respect to signs. What this particular set of amendments does is to add provisions to the town code to allow a comprehensive sign code for other developments within the B1 district. So it's an alternate, it's not mandated, processes, but it's to, I don't want to use the word expand, but to allow in another district with a comprehensive sign plan, the ability to do signs.
Thank you, ma'am.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Because of Councilman Brown's question, could you please, in layman's term, for the edification of the public, describe the difference between, was it PMUD and B1 zone? Briefly, in
Certainly.
layman's terms. Thank you.
Sure. So the B1 district is a general business, and that pretty much includes the Fraley Road, Route 1 area. And PMUD is a zoning district that's approved for a specific development and a specific location. And with it, there are certain uses, certain conditions that are also approved within that specific zoning district and within that specific location. So for example, the parcel that includes the Roses development, that is a PMUD for that parcel. And with that, there was a comprehensive sign plan. There were other uses, specific uses that were approved for that development. And any other PMUD that's approved, those uses and regulations are specific to that PMUD development and PMUD location.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there any further discussion on the ordinance? All right, I move we approve the zoning text amendment to amend chapter 70, section 7040 to allow comprehensive sign plan in the B1 zoning district in the zoning ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, I'm sorry. Again, this is just to initiate consideration. It'll be coming back to you after the planning commission holds public hearings.
Oh, initiated. So,
Yes, sir.
so you don't want no action from us?
Just to initiate. The resolution is to initiate.
So is this the wrong, do I have the wrong thing in front of me that I'm reading?
If you have The one, if you pulled it off the internet, you probably do. If you have the one in your package tonight, you have the correct one.
Okay. All right, so can I have the, because I'm sitting here reading.
Sit down.
What does this say? Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, mine is different. So. All right, let me get rid of this. All right, so we're looking for a resolution initiating amendments to the town code and schedule public hearing. Okay, and consider of ordinance amending chapter 70, article 1, section 70-1, 70-14, and new section relating to sign regulations in the B1 zoning district to allow a comprehensive sign plan in the B1 zoning district in the zoning ordinance.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and it's been second. Any discussions? Yes, Councilman Pete, discussion, go ahead.
I'm not for sure if this pertains to this or not, but does this include LED signages? Because I remember.
So it would include whatever signage the property owner would put forth as part of their sign plan. And again, that would, have to be approved. But it could potentially include, whatever type of sign that they would like to install.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tabor.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor, there's a second on the floor. Any further discussion on the motion and the second? Councilman Brown?
No.
Okay, very well. Then I will now call for the question. All right. Do I need to repeat the motion? Is everybody pretty aware? I think by now y'all know what it is. All right, very well. Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes for me. That motion carries. All right. The last one still the same? The last agenda item? Let me just, let me just ask, because I moved my book. Adoption of the declaration of local emergency by the town of Dumfries. Is that right?
That right this time?
It was changed after, it was changed after.
Or is this an emergency ordinance to extend?
Mhm.
Let me see. Okay,
Mhm.
I think I got it. All right, so this item is an emergency ordinance to extend established emergency procedures for the continuity and operation of the government due to severe flooding and tropical storm impacts. All right, town manager, floor is yours.
Mayor, members of council, on September 22nd, the governor issued a executive order number 27, declaring a state of emergency. And I had also declared a state of emergency, and as part of the standard process, the council has to also ratify this within 45 days. So what we wanted to do is put it before you. The state of emergency ended the next day. So we just wanted to make sure the town was covered in the event that the storm had damaged anything in the town.
Council, any questions? All right, seeing none. I welcome a motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second for the,
Second.
it's only been second, there's no first.
No. It's only the second.
Yeah,
It has been moved,
so where's the first? I just said I welcome a motion.
Oh, okay. Well, I move we approve the resolution as written.
Okay.
Does he need a second again?
Yeah, yeah, to put it in proper order. Who's the second? Okay,
Second.
it's been motioned and this has been second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Okay, all right, Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah.
And that's a yes for me. All right. That was our last action item. Yes. It now takes us to our closed session item. All right, we have two personnel matters tonight. Whereas we desire to discuss in closed meeting two personnel matters pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha relating to one, the discussion, consideration, and interview of prospective candidates for the position of town attorney, and two, discussion of 90-day performance review of the town manager. And Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1 allows us to do so in closed session. So I'll make the motion that we go based on that resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none. Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Councilman Fields?
Yes,
Chair
aye.
Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
And I say yes. All right, see y'all in closed session.
I'm gonna film this in the morning. See that camera crack.
Yeah, fill out the chair. I'm like, ain't I reading the rest? Yeah.
You're gonna end up certifying for it? Not live, okay.
No, she just telling.
And then you have at least two questions.
Okay. No, I probably need whatever the motions are that we're making. It's on the contract, right? Gotta get the motion. Whereas the town council of Dumfries have convened in closed session, and we want to record a vote that said we only went into closed session based on Virginia Code 2.2-3712, and it requires us to certify that we went in with conformity to Virginia law.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and second. Okay, any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call for the question. Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem,
Aye.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
And that's a yes for me. All right, so we want to come out and we're going to take action as a result of our closed meeting tonight with the appointment of a town attorney. Whereas pursuant to the Virginia Code, Town Charter, and the Town Code, the Town Council may appoint a town attorney who shall serve as our chief legal advisor to the council, and we shall also serve as a legal advisor to the town administration. And whereas a result of the search process, Sandra Robinson was interviewed by the council, and where Sandra Robinson is qualified to practice law in the Commonwealth of Virginia and has previously represented other localities as their chief legal advisor. And whereas pursuant to Town Code, Section 283, Bravo 10, which provides that the town manager shall make a recommendation to the town council regarding those positions who are appointed by the council, Town Manager Tangela Enos has recommended that Sandra Robinson be appointed town attorney, and the town council has considered her recommendation. And whereas pursuant to Charter Section 403, the town attorney shall serve at the pleasure of the town council. And whereas the town council and Sandra Robinson have reached an agreement on the terms of the attached employment agreement, now make a motion that we duly adopt her and appoint her as the town attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Well, I just made the motion. I just need a second.
Second.
All right. It's been motion and it's been second. All right, any discussion?
Yes.
All right, seeing Seeing no further discussion, I'll call for the question. All right, Councilwoman Peterson,
Aye.
Councilman Brown. Aye. Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem,
Aye.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
So yes for me, that motion carries unanimously. All right, the next action we want to take is a resolution increasing the town manager salary base by 5,000. Is it? It's just that simple?
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and second. All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem,
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And yes, that motion carries 6-0. That time, that concludes our agenda. The last thing it says adjourned.